how do you get in front of your executives? How do you make that connection and start to get that dialogue going with them? And it also centers around your data. Hint,
Yep.
big surprise.
Welcome back, folks. This is episode 148. We got a powerhouse titan in the payroll industry visiting us today. But before we get to that, what's up, Walt?
What's up with you, Brian? How you doing, man?
I'm chilling. Yeah, excited,
Man,
bro.
already
So-
March.
I know. Time flies, man. Time flies,
Yeah.
man. They told us when we were younger, right? Like,
Yeah.
now I'm like, I read a post recently that was like something about you didn't want to become your parent, but now you're like, who left on all the lights in the house?
Yep. Now you got to pay the bills.
That's right. Is it?
You're responsible for that. Yep.
Oh man. Wait, can you think of a saying that your parents used to say that now you get? Give you an example. Both my parents used to be like, oh, the light company, which was Con Edison at the time. Con Edison is not my uncle. Something like that. They used to tell me.
I'm like normal things I think a lot of us have heard growing up, right? Money doesn't grow on trees.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
No doubt.
just those different type of things like that. Those common things when we wanted something, they were like, nope, we'll wait till you get home and you can eat a bologna sandwich.
Oh, I used to get that all the time. Oh, we got McDonald's at home.
Yep.
I'd be like,
Yeah.
what? And then, bro, I don't know how old before I realized that there were actual hamburger buns that you could buy for the house.
Yeah.
Because you only got hamburger buns when you like at the
Yep.
cookout or at somewhere else. And if the home burgers, big old thick hamburger,
And some Wonder
ketchup,
Bread.
finger on the Wonder Bread. Yep.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Good
man.
old days, man.
Good old days. Yep.
Word up.
Yeah, man. So,
Talk about the good old days and Wonder Bread. How's your financial fitness challenge coming?
it's going good. The stocks and cryptos and stuff that I'm invested in are kind of fluctuating a little bit.
Of course. The market just dropped because of Trump announced something that
Tariffs.
the market
Yeah, some
tariffs. That's what it
tariffs
was. Yep.
So they're anticipating that. So the markets are reacting to that. And
Yep.
I put some more of my music on sounddeed.com.
Nice.
Got a couple of visitors.
I was just gonna ask, can you
no.
tell if you're getting any?
Yeah. So got some traffic coming in and out. No interactions yet, but just gonna still continue to put music out there and see what happens, man, and just go from there. Honestly. How about you? How's your challenge going?
I need to keep a note of what the things that I'm like, I did this.
Oh, we just said as a company, we
Yes.
saved plenty, right?
Yes, we went through. Walt and I went through our expenses, and of course what they call subscription, where we were oversubscribed, and
Yep.
we realized that we don't need that. Like, what's this? And got rid of things that we just didn't need, and saved some money there. One of the things I did do, not an actual money saving, but kind of, I signed up for Nerd Wallet,
Nice.
and
Okay.
they have a tool that can help once you plug all your things into it. It
Nice.
can help make suggestions on how to save, on how to break down your debt, how to pay your debt quicker, things like that. And
Yes.
out to looking for actual person to give us advice as well on what to do and how to leverage and get out of debt quicker, right? Because we got caught up just like every other middle class American living paycheck to paycheck, trying to house and this and
What
that.
was it? It was, we were paying for, I'll go, if you're okay with me sharing it,
Was
we
that?
were using ChatGPT and
Mhm.
another AI.
Yeah.
Like some AI workers, Sintra. We call it Sinatra, but Sintra.
Sinatra, yeah.
Yeah, but we were using that, and come to find out after we did some research, it could do a little bit more for us at this moment in time. So that was one thing that we decided to change. And then with our website, we found out that we were paying for something that we no longer needed on the actual site for uploading videos and stuff like that, because we used to upload videos directly to our site. Now we don't do that. So we said, I think all in all was over $100 or something like a month, right?
A month. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I was big. We bootstrapping, so every little dollar counts, and now we can put that towards advertising and things like that going forward.
Yep.
So yeah, cool. Let's get into it because our guest will be joining soon. So I want to definitely try to get through his intro first.
Yeah. So why don't you do the intro first, and then we'll do the news if you want.
Bet. Absolutely. We are going to welcome Pete Tiliakos to the show as we dive deep into the world of payroll, HR tech, and workforce innovation. Today, we're thrilled to have this true industry expert with us. With over 30 years of experience in payroll and HR technology, Pete is a globally recognized thought leader, advisor, researcher in payroll, employer of record of services, payments, and HCM technology. As the co creator and co host of HR and Payroll 2.0 with Julie Fernandez, the host. Oh, he's also host of The Source by Daily Pay. No wonder why I keep seeing that, because I didn't know if he was promoting it or if he was like, cool.
Mhm.
Pete's insights shape industry trends absolutely and guide both practitioners and providers. His experience spans from Fortune 100 payroll leadership, Big Four consulting, HR
Yeah.
technology research, making him a go-to expert for payroll transformation and strategy. So get ready for an insightful conversation as we tap into Pete's deep expertise and explore what's next in the evolving payroll and HR landscape.
Welcome to the show, Pete. Again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For the second time. Yes, that's right. We
Yeah.
did a swap cast. Well,
Yeah.
we call it swap cast, but we did like a joint show with Pete and Julie. So that was
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah. So look, let's get into our articles really quick. Mine, I'm gonna go through it really quick. It's an article by rippling.com, and they're talking about the most common payroll mistakes. So I'm just gonna go
I
through
like that.
those 9.
Go for
And
it.
so number one is misclassifying employees. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two is miscalculating employee wages and hours. Number three is having incomplete employee records. Number four is missing those deadlines. Number five is missing expenses. Number six is submitting the wrong taxes. Number seven is using incomplete employee information. Number eight is misprocessing of garnishments. And number nine is failure to report all forms of taxable employee wages or compensation. Those are the 9 most common mistakes according to this article by Ripley.
That's awesome. I'm like peeved off here because we're doing a webinar Friday, free
Mhm.
webinar too on Friday with our career learning partners about employee classification.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Yep, but they won't hear it until after this post after. So sorry, folks, but keep a
It's,
lookout for career learning. We do free webinars mostly every Friday or a lot of Fridays. They're free. You
yeah.
can jump in, talk with it. All right. Anywho, mine is really quick. Is just Paychex and Paycor have gotten to a step closer in their merger. They went
Nice.
through, yes, they passed through what's called a HSR waiting period. And it's basically a mandatory waiting period by the SEC and government
Mhm.
regulations that they have to wait before they can close on this deal. The government is definitely looking at this deal because Paychex and Paycor are one of the big, what was it? Somebody called it like the pea soup or all the peas or something like that. They got a lot of catchphrases for it because it's like Paychex, Paycor, Paycom, pay this, pay that.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know what HSR is, it's Hart Scott Rodino.
Some type of laws, I would imagine.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that has just passed. So they're getting a step closer to their merger or acquisition, however you want to call it. But they will merge ultimately, regardless of who's buying who. They will
Yeah.
become one company. So it's very interesting to payroll folks, and I'm interested to see how that plays out for users of either system,
Yeah.
because and we'll come back. Ooh, and maybe we could pick Pete's brain on it, because what are they gonna do, right? Are they gonna make one new system, or are they
Yep.
gonna just migrate over to
Who
one of
knows?
their existing systems? Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to pay attention. I think this has been the biggest merger since we've been doing the show industry wise. There've been a ton, but there are a ton of smaller mergers going on in the industry. I think I report on one every other month or so where one technology company is buying
Mhm.
another and merging and consolidating HR technologies and so forth and so on. But this right here, I think the biggest names that we've seen since we've been reporting on pay news, on payroll news in the industry. So it's exciting. I want to kind of keep tabs on it, and we'll definitely keep folks updated on how things are going. Maybe we could get somebody to talk about it too, as far as the technology plan, what's on the
Yeah.
roadmap,
That'd be
right? That's
good.
what
Yeah.
I'm most interested in, is what are they going to do technology wise?
Maybe
I
we can
don't
reach
think
out to
I've
them and
touched.
find out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I've touched Paycor. I've used Paychex, both years ago when it was kind of very archaic.
Yeah.
And most recently, it was way better. I mean, light years ahead from
Yeah.
where I used to see it. So that was
Nice.
cool. One of our colleagues, our amiga, you know who that is. She's a fan of Paychex. She loved how she
Yeah.
used it.
She does.
So yeah, so that's dope. That's
All
dope.
right, man. You want to pay the bills while we wait for Pete?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
So, as you're setting ambitious goals for 2025, remember that a well organized team is the foundation for success. So, in 2025, streamline your business operations with TrakGO. There should be a drum roll in there or something, I think.
No
Their
doubt.
user friendly time tracking software empowers you to get organized. So, say goodbye to those messy spreadsheets and inaccurate time entries. Effortlessly track those employee hours with their user friendly time clock. Streamline those time off requests and approvals with their intuitive system, and automate that vacation and sick leave policy as well.
Absolutely. And if you're ready to make 2025 your most productive year ever, sign up for a free trial of TimeTrack Go today and experience the difference. In just a few minutes, you'll be on your way to increase productivity, reduce payroll errors, like what was just sharing on that most payroll error list, improved employee satisfaction, and more time to focus on what matters to you. Don't let time tracking become a burden. Let time track go, simplify your life, and help you achieve your goals in 2025. So visit www.timetrackgo.com. That's CIMETRAKGO.com. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right. And welcome to the show, Pete. Pete, we're already recording, sir.
What's
What
up,
is
guys?
going on?
What's going on, Pete?
It's so good
Yeah.
to
Oh,
see
Pete,
you, man.
man.
How you
Forgot
been?
the
Not
hair
much, man.
flowing. I
He's
wish
a
I'm
rock
jealous.
star.
Yeah.
I'm
He is
jealous
a
right
true
now.
life rock star.
I had to get it cut, man. I had to get it cut. It was too long, so I had to trim it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
I love it.
How you been, Pete?
I've been good, man. How are you guys been?
We've been good, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're having fun.
Yeah.
Um,
You guys have some
right.
great episodes, man. It's more than
Thank you.
payroll here. I don't know if people know that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
No, and we cover it all. We're
Yeah.
talking paycheck, we're talking payroll, we're talking people.
Yeah.
We're just kind of rounding it out with the people piece. And yeah, man, we'd love to I loved it when you said you need to come on. I was like, oh heck yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Well, I'm a fan of the show, man. I listen regularly and as much as I can. And yeah, no, I really appreciate it, man. I'm excited to talk about the Payroll Professional Confidence Index and what's going on there. So
Yes. So
yeah.
please tell us what this is,
Yeah.
why you do it,
Yeah.
and then round it out with how or where do you want to start? How was last year's impact? What is it? Define it. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure everybody in payroll knows who you are, but for those who don't, let
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, well, look, I'm Pete Tiliakos. Obviously, I've been in the space for a long time. I'm a longtime practitioner, consultant, and then became an industry analyst in the last decade. So professional researcher, basically researching the space for payroll, HCM technology, fintech, and anything adjacent to those things, right? So a lot of compliance. I get involved with a lot of vendors in the API space as it connects to payroll, that sort of thing. And so, look, man, I've been researching the payroll space for quite a while now, right? I'm passionate about it. I'm a former practitioner, like I said. But what I noticed in the research that we were putting out, it was largely rooted in lead generation. It was largely rooted around what do you have? What can we sell you? What can someone sell you?
yes. And it's
Mhm.
still that
And that's,
way.
yeah. And that's not enough, right? I mean, yeah, payroll needs technology. I will agree. And it's been a blessing, an absolute blessing. And the more we have, I think the better, right? AI's got a lot of opportunity. I mean, cloud moved us forward. Analytics have been huge. So all of those things are really fantastic. But what I think is really missing for payroll leaders today is engagement and support and a seat at the table and an opportunity to show the athleticism that they have and that they've displayed for years in the absence of technology. And so what I wanted to do with the Payroll Profession Confidence Index was go beyond kind of the, what do you have? What can we sell you? And get to how are you doing? And how are you feeling about the future? How are you feeling about the present? But how are you feeling about the future? And what's making you successful? What's holding you back? Where could you use more help? We all would say we don't have enough investment, right? We don't have enough support, but what does that actually look like? How does that come about in terms of ROI? And how does payroll actually utilize its internal stakeholders to its best advantage to be able to help the company itself. So we dig into things like relationships with executives, relationships with HR, relationship with everyone. And we're also pushing further onto things like the ROI that's coming out of payroll. What is that ROI look like, right? And how is that being derived? What's the most impactful way to get that out of the operation? So all of these things that I think just go beyond what do you have? Are you mature? Are you not mature? Like we test all of those things. But what I'm really looking for is how do we help you be better you, right? How do we help payroll be better at payroll? And what can leaders do to kind of reach down and say, hey, let's make you part of the conversation. Let's make you part of the strategy. And how can we help you help us, so to speak? So that's what it's all about, man. And year 2, here we are. So we're chugging along. We got about a month left as we record this. We'll be wrapping it up at the end of the month. And yeah, we would love to just have every practitioner jump in on that.
Amazing.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
as this post, folks, it will post on the 10th. So you have 20 or so days,
Yeah.
21 days to get it. Plenty of time. It only takes a few minutes to do it.
Yeah.
I remember doing it last year. I'm going to do it again this year. I haven't done it yet. I'm sorry, Pete. But
Yeah.
I'm
It's a
definitely
thing. Get in
going to
there.
do. Yeah, no, for sure. Now, so what came of last year's results?
Yeah.
Any major impact? What, anything?
Yeah. Yeah. So look, first, it's important to understand that this research is completely unmonetized, right? No one is sponsoring this. No one is benefiting off it. We're not selling this data. We never will. And I've even invested in some technology to make sure it's a better experience. It's mobile, all of that sort of thing. But one of the things that we did last year was we really set a baseline to say, look, where are we with payroll, right? What's the respect level that we're getting? What's the investment level? And we didn't just ask, are your leaders investing in you, putting money on the table, but are they invested in your success as an operation, as a practitioner, as a leader? And so those things are really important to triangulate across that sentiment for the business across to the value that was coming out. And so what we realized last year is we had a good baseline. We needed to clean up a few things that we might have had redundant. There's always an opportunity to tweak, I think, any survey. But this year, what we did was we tried to push further down into defining ROI. And I don't know if you remember last year's report. And again, all of my content, especially this report, is completely free. You don't even have to give your email. You can just one click, download and take the contents. And that whole thing is written toward the C-suite. It's all about changing the narrative, showing them what's really going on in payroll, and then obviously trying to close that ROI. And last year, we set a point of view around the 5 pillars of modern payroll. And those 5 pillars are oriented around compliance expertise, org agility, strategic advisory, helping the business with the pay experience, and then helping the business access talent anywhere. And so imagine the compliance elements of that, of course. So, but what we did this year was we wanted to test how well our organizations or payroll operations actually delivering those 5 things to their businesses. And so that'll be something that's expanded this year. It'll also, we're going to dig further into those relationships and try to understand them a little bit better and really try to figure out how you can spend time, right? How do you get in front of your executives? How do you make that connection and start to get that dialogue going with them? And it also centers around your data. Hint, big surprise, use your data. But fundamentally, we want to dig into that. We want to understand where the value is coming from for payroll and what are the most successful payroll operations and returning that value. What are they receiving from their organizations, or how are they being engaged? Or what's the magic potion, I guess you could say, for making them the most successful? And what we're hoping to do is, again, change the narrative in the C-suite, change the attitude maybe that payroll has about themselves. I think there's been a lot of less than treatment of payroll, and it's time that payroll believe in themselves and know that they have this athleticism. I like to say that payroll leaders are really just business leaders that sit in payroll.
Yeah.
Right. It's no different than any other department, right? And so why not leave your mark and lead the organization? You can certainly do that today. So yeah.
Well said. Yes,
I
sir.
love it.
That's
I
awesome.
Yeah.
remember spending a lot of time in the show. We talked about the last year's results. I spent
Yeah.
episodes and episodes because we do a little bit of news snippet in the beginning, and I just used that for my content for a while. And me and Walt were just like, "Oh my gosh!" and ooh, and it was great results. And I remember it being like, "This is the business case study stuff that you need to go to your leaders to say, this is why I
Yeah.
need this. This is why we need help."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of the payroll folks that have to build case studies, not only use last year's, is that one still available? Last year's result?
Yeah, it's always out there, man. You can jump on
Awesome.
payrollinfluences.com and you can find that research. It'll be there. And then this year we'll try to bring in a view of what it looked like comparative to last year. So hopefully we'll have similar numbers. And eventually I'd love to get to a point where we could allow people to benchmark themselves somehow and try to keep this open year round. What I want to do is just be a voice, right? And just say, hey
Yep.
guys, look, I have a platform. Let me just pair you up with that platform and amplify this voice. And so that's what this is all about, man.
That'll work.
Awesome.
Yeah.
When do you think the results will post?
So I'll take probably about the month of April to pull it all together. So by about mid-May,
May.
I should have it out. End of May at the very latest. I think we had it by mid-May last year. So I'm trying to target that again. And yeah, I'll probably put out what I generally will do is me and Julie will always talk about it on the podcast.
Yep.
But I'll put it out there, make sure people can get a copy of it. And I'll also do, like I said, a podcast, maybe even some webinars. I'm not sure yet. And I normally go around and try to present it to as many folks as I can. And people are welcome to download it, share it, cite it, use it however you need to. It's all about, like I said, just trying to talk to the C-suite and say, look, you've got to start thinking about payroll differently. You should have been thinking about it differently all along. You've got to think about it differently. And if you don't, you're at a competitive disadvantage and you're at a disability in some ways of accessing that max value and getting into that data and turning on all of that ROI from org agility and the other engagement that payroll can provide. So yeah, just really want to get that message out there and hopefully get more CEOs and C-suites to start to look at payroll in a different way and invest and engage and bring them to the table. I think that's all very important.
Yeah, that's right. I think it is definitely
Yeah.
making payroll's definitely making a push, especially in the last few years as folks like us have become more influential in
Yeah.
the social media piece of it all, and we're definitely making a different mark.
You guys help make payroll look cool, man.
Yeah. Likewise, brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we have to shine a light on this, man. One of the things that was very concerning for me last year in this report, I'm hoping we'll see some improvement this year, was that the fact that we're losing a lot of folks out of this industry,
Oh God.
just matriculating, right? Just aging out.
That aging out. We talked
yeah.
about that last year.
That's a problem.
There
Yeah.
are not enough young folks in pay. That's a big problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did a whole season on like how to get young folks excited. Oh, Max was part of that. We had Max on from. Oh my gosh, I love what he said about it. Those shows. That Max is great. Yeah. And look, before we go, you made me think of some other things.
Yeah.
I just talked about the Paycor Paychex merger.
Oh, yeah.
Has passed this point. Any thoughts on that? Any not inside, but
Yeah.
information you have on it?
Yeah. Well, we did a podcast on this right after it happened. I gave a lengthy one. So if everybody wants to check that out, HR and Payroll 2.0, I think it was maybe, what was it, early February that happened. So probably around that time. Yeah, look, man, I wasn't surprised by that. I mean, Paychex has always made acquisitions. They haven't made one in a while. I think it made perfect sense, right? I mean, they have a great solution with Flex. They have a tremendous small business one-stop shop of solutions for you, whether it's HR, obviously solutions that they offer themselves, but even their marketplace of capabilities where they can help you get funding, they can help you with insurances. And there's almost anything you need as a small business, you could get it inside the Paychex walls. And I think you look at Paycor on the other side, they were doing much better, kind of moving up market. And I think some of that was just the maturity of their tech and some of the ways they had configured their stack. But so they didn't quite have the depth of services that Paychex had. So now I think you're bringing together two organizations that have been able to play confidently up and down market. Now I think you've got an opportunity where Paychex can help hang on to and support a bigger customer as these smaller customers grow out of their solutions that they're using, and maybe stick around longer with the Paycor technology. But then there's a broader set of services that Paychex can bring to the table for the Paycor customers and kind of meet each other in the middle. So I think it's just a nice complement that each brand brings to each other. And I think it's indicative of what we're going to see throughout the year and maybe even further on, as we're probably going to catch up on some of these IPOs and acquisitions and things that maybe would have happened in previous years, but maybe they were holding off for the election or something like that. But I think the time's right. It makes sense for these two to get together. Not necessarily the two I would have thought would have gotten together, but totally makes sense for why I think Paychex pulled the trigger. And yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see, man. The market, it's been a busy market already this year. It's February. We've already seen some acquisitions, some major announcements, and I'm sure there's a lot more to come as we get going.
Do
Awesome.
you think that
Yeah.
they're gonna move to one of their technologies or create a new one, or how would that's what I'm most
Yeah.
curious.
For now, they're saying they're gonna be kept separate, right? They're
Okay.
gonna keep them standalone. So I think that
Because
might make
there's so
sense.
much to figure out. They're not gonna be able to do
Yeah.
anything overnight.
Yeah, replatforming all that instantly would be very hard. So I think
Yeah,
you'll see them operate as separate companies for
for
a
a
little
while.
while as
Okay.
they integrate and figure out what the overlaps and opportunities are. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, UKG, for example, is keeping Pro and Ready up and down market. They're doing very well with those. So why couldn't you have a flex down market from Paychex and a
Oh,
Paycor up market?
and just
There's no
rebrand.
reason why. Yeah.
Right. And the rebranding is a lot easier. Yeah, I get
Yeah, I
it.
think maybe, and again, you can do a lot of cross selling through each other's body of customers. So there's a lot of opportunities both ways that I think will be beneficial. So I think they'll stick around. I think both brands will stick around for a little while, maybe just in different and platforms as well for a little while.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they'll rush anyone. They're not talking that way. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. So, what are your feelings on how AI are going to impact us as payroll? Do you speak to that in the
Yeah,
index?
yeah. I actually am very excited about it. I mean, I look at everything that comes our way from a technology perspective and think, man, if I'd have had that when I was
Mm.
or
Yep.
whatever, I could have taken over the world, man. When I was working for the Walt Disney Company managing payroll, we were dealing with backlots of Hollywood. That was the gig economy before the gig economy ever became the gig economy. Um, as long as there have been unions since like the 30s and 40s, they've been operating in a very gig fashion. And things like earned wage access and real time payments and other things would have been very beneficial for us accommodating the California backlot requirements. So I look at this stuff and just think, wow, how much better of an athlete could you be with these technologies? And so that's the way I think payroll has to look at it. I know we gave I host the Daily Pay podcast, The Source, and we obviously talk about all kinds of innovation on there. And one of the things I noticed was we were talking a lot when it came to the webinar series, the education series at Payroll about financial wellness, but we weren't talking so much about what's in it for the payroll leader when it comes to things like earned wage access, the ability to solve problems, right? The ability to deal with ice storms in Texas or the ability to deal with California same day payments, right? When you terminate someone. So all of those things, I think there are these technologies, yes, they are benefiting, say, financial wellness, but there are opportunities that payroll can utilize those as like a toolbox to say, how do I solve problems and continue to look like the magician that we are? That's the way you're going to do it. And so why not lean into earned wage access and digital payments? And why not lean into AI and lean into all of these things that can give you more superpowers to be able to go and do the cool things that you've always wanted to do? And that is hopefully lead your organization, consult your organization, and help them kind of navigate their next thing. So I'm super excited about it. And when you think about, I give a presentation on augmentation and AI and payroll. And one of the things I like to point out is if you look at the World Economic Forum, they've got the little graph for the skills that people are going to need in the future. If you read those off, right, they're like adaptability, creativity, leadership, analytic thinking. That's all a job description for a payroll leader or an HR leader, even. So those are the skills I would have been looking to hire, right? If someone doesn't know payroll, I can teach them payroll. Those are the skills that you're wanting. Payroll's rich with those skills. You already have all of these skills. All you need now is the technology and the support. And I think you can really do some cool things for your industry and your organization. So lean in, man. I think all ride the wave is what I like to say. Use the surfboards and ride the wave. Yeah.
Well,
All right.
Pete, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's
Yeah.
been awesome.
I
Oh,
appreciate
anything
you guys.
yeah, likewise, bro.
Yeah. Please. And hey, take the PPCI, man. We need you. We've got another
Yes.
few weeks
Absolutely.
left. Would
Yep.
love to have everybody in there. Make your voice heard. I'm happy to be the megaphone for that. And I appreciate everyone's trust in this and know that we are making progress. We are turning heads and we are getting the narrative changed out there. So yeah.
Following you to the
Thank you,
promised land,
Pete.
brother.
Yes. Thank you,
Let's
Pete.
do it. Let's do it. I appreciate
And
you
we'll-
guys, man.
I
Keep
will
doing what you're
Appreciate
doing.
you too.
Absolutely.
You too.
We will be including the link in the show notes. Go check Pete Tiliakos out on LinkedIn. If you don't know, go check him out.
Yeah.
Follow him. Take the survey. And we'll see you next time, folks.
Yeah.
Love you. Thank you, Pete.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Before we sign off, here are a couple quick things. Don't forget to follow It's About Payroll on LinkedIn and It's About Your Paycheck on Facebook and TikTok.
Thank you for being part of our payroll community, and thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Until the next time,
keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep going.